This one kind of dark, but
It
we're
is
gonna work
very
with
dark.
it.
Yes, we are.
Hello and good evening, everyone. It's Corks and Keys. It's me, Tamelia, here with my co-host, my sidekick. Y'all know her, Sharice.
Hello.
So tonight we are here at the Wine Room Afton Village in Concord, North Carolina, and we are here with Red Wine and Blue and the portion of Raise Hell and Raise Hope. So we are talking about community things that are going on. We want to keep you well informed, know what's going on in the community, as well as being educated. So that is our key thing for tonight. And as you know, we like to keep you in the know. So that's what we're doing tonight. So a couple things. We're gonna touch base with voting. We're gonna have Kim talk about that. And we are also here with Michelle Williams, none other than
No
Michelle
other
Williams.
than, yes.
And future. So we're gonna hear a little bit from Michelle,
Yes.
who is based out in Cabarrus County. So we're gonna talk with her. Y'all be on the lookout because you're gonna need to vote. We talk about voting,
We
and
talk
you're
about
gonna need to
voting,
vote
and we
for
and
her.
we need to talk about these things.
Yes, she has so in with education and with the school system. So that is what we look for. That's what we need for our children. That's what we need for our community. So I'm going to switch it over to Michelle. So Michelle's going to introduce herself,
Mhm.
tell you a little bit about her, what she's doing, and y'all be on the lookout for Michelle Williams. Here she
Exactly.
is.
Quick thing note though, I had to give a shout out to the wine room, Terry at the wine room here in Afton Village, because she has been absolutely amazing. Her and her whole staff
Terry is
has
amazing.
been absolutely amazing with accommodating us and letting us meet here. And we're meeting here Tuesday. Every third Tuesday of the month is Raise Hell and Raise Hope. And of course, the favorite tagline that Red Wine and Blue is, when they go low, we go local. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And so that's every third Tuesday. So if you guys can ever meet us here, we'd love to have you. And if not, of course, meet us here virtually. So here we go. You take it to Michelle.
All right. And here we go. We're just going to switch to Michelle. Voila!
Yeah, Michelle.
Hello.
Happy
Big ups
to
for
be
Michelle
here.
Williams.
Happy to be here. No, I'm really drawn to this group because I have a son that has an IEP. I have a son that has a 504 plan.
Mhm.
And I wish that I had a group like this years ago because parents feel so alone. I know I felt so alone,
Mhm.
and I felt like I'm the only parent that's struggling in this scenario at this time. And so I'm really grateful that this group exists and that we can actually share this group with others who might need it as well. And so I'm Michelle Williams. Ran for school board last year, and like I said, special education is one of the core reasons why I ran. And so I don't really tell this story too often, but I'm going to share a little piece of my story. So my son, he has dyslexia and he has ADHD. And so he specifically experienced a lot of challenges in school, specifically in third grade. And we know third grade is that year that, you know, there's major testing and all these things. I feel like as a teacher, because I'm also a certified teacher, as a teacher, that's that magic year where you sometimes as a parent, you find out, oh, there's these challenges that my children or my child is going through. And there was a situation where his IEP was not being followed. And I was very distraught. It was one of the lowest moments as a parent. My husband and I were, we just basically decided to take him out of the public school system. And I'm like, I'm a certified teacher. I will homeschool him myself. I don't trust anybody with my son at this point. And so at that point, I homeschooled. I did find a school that specializes in ADHD, and he got a really great foundation at that school for his school years. Now he is in Cabarrus County schools, thriving, getting A's and B's in Cabarrus County schools, and I'm very, very grateful for that. But the issue is, there's a big issue though, because parents should not have to come to a crossroads to have to decide, hey, I have to take my kid out of public schools. That should never be
Right.
one of the things, like, I mean, I am for choice, of course. If a parent decides, hey, I want to take my kid here, I want to homeschool, hey, you're a parent, you know best, right? But at the end of the day, public schools should have the strongest structure and strongest foundation to meet every child's needs. And it's unacceptable when that is not being done. And so that is like one of the core reasons, one of the major core reasons that I don't really talk much about, because it's my son. You know, I don't want to
Right.
put his information out there like that. But it's what I'm very passionate about. And so I advocate for this community. I advocate for teachers. As being a teacher myself, I know the struggles and the challenges that we face. And even in elementary, many of the elementary schools, they don't get lunch breaks. So imagine going throughout your entire day, 19, 25 kids, and sometimes we wonder, why is that teacher losing it? Well, I mean, if I had 19 kids, you know, I need a little
when
break.
The kids are on lunch. They are
They're
working.
in lunch with them.
Yeah, they are
Yeah,
willing.
yeah.
So it's like, so I get what you're saying, because like, of course, mine is my daughter is older. So when she was in school, I remember I didn't have that option of taking her out of school. Number one, homeschooling was not something that was done a whole lot during that time. So I didn't have that option. And plus I wasn't certified or anything. You know, I do what I can, but that was something that no one actually really talked about. So at that time, I became pretty much an advocate for her. However, as I was going to those meetings, what I found was there were a lot of people who just did not know. Like they didn't know. Like, for example, my daughter never really had a behavioral problem. However, because they didn't know, she was in a class where the teacher didn't know exactly what to do. Their thing wasn't, at that time, they didn't, like, whatever grade that was at the time, they weren't really separating them and saying, okay, they have the IEP or what have you. At that time, it was, well, let's go ahead and put her in another class, kind of get her out the way, so to speak. But it was with other people who did have behavioral problems. And so one of the teachers came up to me and she was like, Sharice, don't do it. She was like, do not allow that to go, because then she will have one. So at that time, I did kind of like, wasn't really trying to or anything like that. But because I was asking questions and because I would speak up at some of the meetings and whatnot, people will come to me and say, hey, what do you know about this? And what can we do about that? And you still didn't really have a whole lot of support. And I would say, and especially those who did not speak English. So those who did not have English as their first language, a lot of those parents truly don't speak English. So they're getting their things translated through their children. And there's the children who need, it's just a whole lot. So I think that coming together and us having people like you and like all of you guys on this particular platform, and having people understand what it is that is needed out there, and what can we do, because it's hard to navigate. It is hard, and there were many nights that I cried because you don't know. So I applaud you. I applaud you. I applaud you, and I thank you for showing up, showing out, and doing your thing, and being one of the candidates and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing I talk a lot about is the whole child, catering to the whole child, making sure not just their academics, but there's so many parts to a child that needs to be nurtured for them to be successful, right? And so I know that the ratios of social workers and school counselors are way off in our county. And so that's another thing that we can advocate for our state legislators to continue to fund or to add more funding to those things, because many of our kids are dealing with anxiety, depression, and many other things. And so we need to make sure we can come alongside them and support them, or else that will affect their academics and that will affect their future success. And so a lot of times we're so hyper focused on scores, but there are different things that impact the score.
So I want to talk a little bit about, because you said earlier that you, and I know I'm not on camera, but you said earlier that you had written some. Do you want to talk a little bit?
So it's really important that the community is informed about what the needs are in our schools. And I know that sometimes it's difficult to stay in tune with all of those things as a community member, but I just recently wrote our state legislators requesting for prioritizing our students and prioritizing our public school and our staff. We have not had master's pay for teachers, and we wonder why teacher retention is like this. There's so many teachers. Even I'm on the PTO of a couple schools, and I've seen a lot of teacher retention issues, not just at the schools that I'm at, but around the entire county. And one of the major things is teachers need a voice. A lot of teachers don't feel safe to voice what their needs are. Some people have said even that, teachers knew what they were going to get paid when they signed up for this. That's not an issue. It is an issue. It is an issue. It's an extreme issue. And so fighting for that, advocating for that to our state legislators so that they can prioritize that. Prioritizing special needs department, prioritizing, like I said, our counselors and our other staff members as well. Even TAs, I wrote in my email. We need TAs in every kindergarten class. There's so many kindergarten teachers that leave in the middle of the year or 1 week left and they leave out, exhausted. And so I was a kindergarten teacher and I had a TA for some of the time. And so some of it, like, where is my TA? I need my TA, because kindergartners there, they have all the energy, and it's actually my favorite grade to teach. It's very important that we reach out to them. If they hear from us, maybe they will listen. Maybe they will respond. I'm hoping that they would.
So how can the community do that? Like, what would you suggest? Like, who do we need to contact? Do you have any other contact numbers right here? And if not, of course, we can go ahead and make sure that our audience get it. Yeah, we'll post it.
Okay.
Definitely.
I have their emails.
Okay, that'd be great.
You want me to? I can pull them up.
Well,
right
you
now.
know what? You'll send it to us, and then we'll put it on our Corks and Keys Facebook page, and of course, we'll have our stuff that we put out there as well. So we'll definitely do that. So,
it's important that they make that a priority. They are there to represent the entire community, and so they should be advocating for that. I don't understand why it's not a priority. There are so many bills being passed right now, and I don't hear anything about our schools.
Right.
So that's the problem.
The education, the education has always been in the back burner and stuff.
Yeah.
So what gave you the motivation to want to run for school board?
Okay, that's a good question. So my husband, my great husband, he said to me, "You should run for school board." And I said, "Who, me?" I am actually an introvert kind of like, so how can I do something like that? I've grown since that. So my husband wrestled with that for a little bit, and then I kind of asked my friend. I said, "You should run for school." She's like, "I'm not doing that." They would think I'm crazy, and I'm thinking like, okay, I should probably do it. And so I reached out to one of the school board members at the time, and she told me, "You actually have to put your name in next week if you're thinking about doing that." And I said, "Wait a minute, I don't even know all the things,
Right.
And so she said, "It's okay. You will have the time to learn those things because running like a year process, and so you're learning along the way." And so I do encourage folks who are interested, who are passionate about public schools, who are passionate about, and then you might second guess yourself. You might think, "Oh, no, not me." You actually can't do it. If you have the backing of your family, that's number one, because there's a lot of sacrifice that comes with running. So you definitely 100% need the backing of your family and their support to know that you're not going to be home a lot. And then, raising funds, asking people for funding. You see the yard signs out everywhere. Those things cost a lot of money. Mailers, having events like even at a place like this, providing food and things like that. So it's something where you have to be 100% dedicated in seeking out those talents. And so but that's pretty much everything. My husband.
Well, that's good. So you have the backing of your family.
I do, 100%. I said, "Are you ready for this again though, Brian?" "Are you sure?" And my too.
Oh,
That's
good,
important
yeah.
too. And the good thing about them, they even came out to the polls, even on Halloween. They had their Halloween costumes on at the polls and all the things. So, yeah.
Oh, good. That's good. I'm glad. Another question I was going to ask, like, when do you start campaigning? Because I know you say you're running for next year,
Yeah,
right?
school board. So I put my name in December. I will.
Oh, in
Mhm.
December. Okay, okay. So
Mhm.
we're going to be looking out for Michelle
Yes,
Williams.
please.
School board.
Yes. Facebook.
Cabarrus County.
Yeah, Cabarrus County. Facebook, vote MISHELL.com. No, that's not Facebook. Website www.votemisHELL.com. And
Okay.
so then you can connect with my Facebook and my Instagram there. I'm still active, talking about the gerrymandering and everything like that
Mhm.
too recently. So yeah.
Okay. Well, good. Well, thank you so much. And we are excited about that.
Yeah.
So we will definitely be on the lookout. You know, you got our support.
Thank you. I
So we're
appreciate
going to be
that.
doing what we can to help,
Mhm.
campaign
Mhm.
and, get it out there.
Yes,
Get it
thank
out
you.
there.
I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. You're welcome.
So we wanted to go ahead and get into the voting a little bit. So
So we're going to
definitely we're going to turn it around again. And we have
There we
Kim
go.
that's going to talk a little bit about voting.
Okay. Well, as we know, the municipal elections are coming October 16th. Registered to vote. You can register when you early vote. So please make sure you do that. And a lot of people always ask, well, who cares about the municipal elections? It's only a mayor's race, it's some city council races. Who cares? And a lot of people don't vote in municipals. Statistically, we know that it's oftentimes it's fewer than 10%. And this is a mistake. And let me tell you why. We have right now in Concord Mayor Bill Dush, and he's a nice guy. He's a real decent guy, and he is not running for a second term. And I will tell you why he is not running for a second term.
Do tell.
I shall tell. I shall tell all. There was a bill being pushed by Representatives Jonathan Almond and Brian Echeverria of Cabarrus County to make Cabarrus County elections partisan, to make municipal elections in Cabarrus County partisan, so that if somebody was running for mayor, you knew if they were Republican or Democrat. And maybe that sounds good to you, but let me tell you what that means. It means that if you're an independent, you can't really easily run. And since independents represent about a third of North Carolina's population, that's maybe not so good. And two, what it means really is Republicans and Democrats level that we see at the state and the national level. And you also don't need a partisan designation, I think, to fill in a pothole. So, is it really necessary? I don't think so. Mayor Dush didn't think so. Lots of people didn't think so. So, although Representatives Echeverria and Almond really bullied him, he stood firm. But he also thought, the heck with this. I don't need this anymore. Exactly. So he's not running for a second term. And that leaves the way clear for other people to run, which is great. So we do have some good candidates running in our mayoral elections, not only in Concord, but in Kannapolis, and in other areas in Cabarrus County. We've also got some good candidates running for city council positions and town council positions. And we also have some extremists running. So what also happens in municipal elections is when people don't turn out to vote, when the moderates stay home and the people who aren't really invested say, this really, I don't have any skin in this game. Guess who does have skin in the game? The extremists have skin in the game. They will turn out. And let me tell you what happened with Concord's county commissioners last time. The extremists most definitely turned out to vote in the primaries and, for the election. And they put some extremists on, and those extremists fired the county manager, and they fired the county attorney, And when they fired the longtime county manager, he was able to sue the county for over $500,000.
Oh, wow.
And he was able, the lawsuit dragged out. So not only did we end up owing the county manager the $500,000 that he was owed, but we also had to pay, what, $106 a day because the idiots on the county commissioner decided to drag it out like he wasn't going to win in the first place. And to top it off, the cronies that they named in the position to fill the county manager and county attorney that they fired got fired themselves because they didn't know what they were doing.
Wow.
You know, they got
That's
fired with
crazy.
cause. I don't know about the county attorney, but the county manager that they put in got fired with cause. So that's more money that got wasted.
And they ran on. How did they run on?
Oh, yes, that's right. Thank you, Michelle. They ran on financial responsibility. They
lowering the
ran
taxes.
and lowering
Oh my
taxes.
God.
Has that happened?
Yeah.
No, that hasn't happened at all. That has not happened at all.
Crazy.
They formed some committee that was supposed to be like Elon Musk's Doge. They called it Cafe or something like that. They met once in April, and we haven't heard one thing about them since then. Who knows what they're doing? They're not
Right.
doing anything. So that's who the extremists put in. Morons. All right. Wrong? Why is everyone wrong? That's who. And county commissioners meeting, some poor addled old person gets up there and says, I thought that we were supposed to not have taxes anymore. I thought my property taxes were supposed to be taken care of. Who knows what those morons promised those poor old people?
So
I have no
I
idea.
think that that's the big thing too for a lot of people, and I think that it has a lot to do with people not actually understanding the platform. Like what is it that? Forget the fact that I'm Democrat, Republican, or whatever that is.
Yes.
So what exactly do I believe in? Am I, do I have integrity?
Exactly.
You know, do I view other humans as valuable?
Yeah.
Right. Everyone. Right.
Right.
So it's like when we kind of forget that this is really what we were supposed to be building this country on, and that's what this country was supposed to be about. And we get into the point where it's like, oh no, it's just like I'm just straight down the party line and all of that.
Sure.
Because of course, it's like I don't agree with every single thing that
No.
Democrats say or do or anything like that. And I don't agree with every single thing that Republicans do. However, what I do want to know is I want to know that the person that I'm voting for truly, truly, truly has a good heart, some kind of way, right? Truly, truly knows how to respect boundaries and whatnot. All of that good
And
stuff.
talk to other
And
people.
talk to other people.
And compromise when they
And compromise,
need to.
because that's what it's about.
Right. And when you get into hard partisan parties,
Right.
you don't see any kind
You don't
of
see that.
compromise.
Yeah.
You don't see anything just representing this
Right.
faction
Mhm.
of the population. Oh no, we all drive on the same roads.
Right.
I'm driving over
Exactly.
those potholes. I'm getting mail. I'm paying taxes just the same as everybody else. My kids go to the public schools. The county commissioners determine the budget for the county.
Yeah.
So when we allow the extremists to determine our candidates and who gets in office, we are creating a very dangerous space for everybody in the county. We're
So
creating
my
very bad
question
schools.
is
Yes.
always just like it was before. It's like I know a lot of people who feel, well, because of what happened, my vote doesn't even matter if I vote or anything like that. It doesn't even matter.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to continue to believe that our votes matter. I want to continue to believe that if we continue to fight and if we continue to speak up and we continue to send it emails and make the phone show out and be at someone's front door or whatever that is, if we do that, then we can get some of this back, right?
Yes.
We can do stuff. So when we say when they go low, we go local.
That's right.
This is what this is about.
Yes. And I'm going to agree with you. And I'm also going to agree with the people who feel disenfranchised and like their vote doesn't matter because we have been so gerrymandered in this state. And we do have elected officials who don't want to listen to their people and who don't have town halls and they ignore our calls and they ignore our emails. I don't blame anybody for feeling the way they do.
Right.
But I'm also going to say this. History doesn't teach us a good lesson when it doesn't show us just how long
Mhm.
things can take.
Right.
You know, we tend to think of the Montgomery bus boycott as, oh, everybody
Mhm.
stayed out for a day and then it was over. Or, oh, well, Martin Luther King had his March on Washington and
Right.
everybody said, oh, yeah, it's a good idea. Let's give everyone civil rights. That is
It didn't
not
happen
at
that way,
all
right,
what happened. It
exactly.
took years.
It did.
It took 366 days for the Montgomery bus boycott,
Mhm.
you know, and, you know, civil rights is obviously an
Yeah.
ongoing battle.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be, but it is. So, you know, this is a battle we fight over and over and over again, and we've grown complacent,
Yeah.
and we've allowed ourselves to become lazy. And
Yeah.
this battle is not going to be won
Mhm.
in a week
It's
or a
not.
month, and because these rights and these things that we took for granted were not lost in that amount of time.
Exactly.
It took years.
It definitely
Exactly.
took
It
years,
did.
but it seems just crazy. It took years, but things are being cut
Yes.
instantly. It seems like. I mean, even though it may be taking a few weeks, a month or two,
Right,
but I
still.
mean, funding is getting ready to end.
I know.
You know, and so it took
And
years
that's
to
going to affect a
develop
lot
that.
of us.
You know, so
Yeah.
it took years to develop it, and it's being cut that fast.
Well, it took years to lay the groundwork. I mean, I grew up in Pennsylvania, and that was always a strong union state. Like
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
union, you know, you could never have thought that for a place where there wasn't a strong union.
Right.
And
right.
then in 1997, I moved to North Carolina, and unions were a very bad word here, and I'd
Mhm.
never heard that in my life. But that rhetoric really took hold. The idea that unions were bad
Mhm.
and making everybody, like, the right to work was good, and making everybody pay dues was bad, and socialism bad, and everything was called socialism. Like, you know, and so all of that became a very bad, negative idea over time.
Mhm.
And suddenly, you know, billionaires paying taxes, oh, that's a bad idea. We don't want corporations and billionaires to pay taxes. Why? They've earned their wealth. What? You know, that's
Right,
that's
right.
insane.
Exactly.
You
And it
know,
is.
so it step has brought us to this point, and you know, now we're at a point where young people can't afford decent housing.
Mhm.
You know, where jobs are not plentiful, and it's really
Right.
difficult to find any kind of decent paying job.
Mhm.
You guys remember how much it cost to
It
buy
is.
your first car? I remember. I think I went. I was in college and had barely a good job, and my payment I want to say was $89, and it was a Mitsubishi, little Mitsubishi, and they're saying now that the cars now you're not going to find anything under $50,000, $60,000.
You're not.
It's crazy.
Right.
Which is crazy, right? So it's like it's crazy, and of course we understand inflation and all of that other kind of stuff, but young people are really at a position right now where there's no way. It's like, how are they going to make it?
Right.
How can they make it?
Well, you know, I'm looking at colleges with my son
Mhm.
right now. I don't know how
So
we're
we're
going
going to do
to.
it, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, back in the day, I moved out while working at Sears
Mm-hmm.
on the sales floor. I can't do that anymore.
No,
It's
you
crazy.
cannot.
Mhm.
No.
You can't. You can't. It's scary.
It's
Definitely
very
scary.
I think minimum wage is one of the things that is just unbelievable.
Right.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken, did I hear that it's technically still $7 or
It's
something like that?
$7.25 an hour.
And
Yes, and
what is that going to cover?
I'm like, I
What
did
would
not
that
realize
cover?
that. I
What?
did not.
gas to get to and from work.
But
Barely.
not lunch.
Right.
Right. You won't eat. You won't eat. Mm-mm.
My friend runs the Habitat for Humanity or Salvation Army. I'm sorry, he runs
Okay.
the Salvation Army homeless shelter
Mhm.
in Cabarrus County.
Mhm.
It is always full.
Mhm.
We have the 6th worst problem with homelessness in this state, right after Mecklenburg.
Wow.
And in order for a family to afford a house, you would have to make $60 an hour. I don't make that.
Mm-mm.
My husband doesn't make that. If we didn't have our house already, get one now.
That's exactly it. And we as realtors, we know that it is difficult right now. What we found is that as far as first-time home buyers, like first-time home buyers back in the day, you could get a house for like 60, 70, 80,000. First-time home buyers now, they're looking at something decent, close to 300,000.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
not much less than 300.
Right.
Probably not less than 300.
Mhm.
Yeah, our old neighborhood got caught up this year and our mortgage went up. Our
Mhm.
payment. I wasn't expecting that. You know, I'm like,
Mhm.
fixed rate mortgage. We've had the
Ours
house
too.
forever, but then all the taxes.
The
got
taxes
Ours
reassessed.
went
will
up
do it.
150.
Mhm.
It seemed like $300 extra a month on our
It's a lot.
mortgage, just because of the taxes
Because
and
of the
the
taxes.
price of the houses now.
Mhm.
I don't understand that.
I know
It
we
is
don't either.
crazy. It is crazy.
But that's the reason for these groups here. It's for like, there are so many people out there right now that feel like they are by themselves and that they're alone. And I think that it's important for us to make sure that they know that they are not. And as long as people kind of know that they are not, because I felt that too. It's like when you're going through something, and especially when it's something that hits so close to home, and you have that personal story, it's like you know exactly how it feels. Like you might have like your husband and everybody. It was like still it's that frustration of not knowing, and it's that frustration of not having not someone else not feeling that as well. So it's important for us to do this, and I
Yes.
appreciate you guys. So what can we do? What can the audience do in order to make sure that they are staying involved and that they are contacting the right people at the right time and all of that? What can
Okay. You know I'm going to plug Red Wine and Blue.
we do?
All right.
Right.
That's my
right.
group, and it is a woman-led organization. We welcome men.
That's support. We're gonna show that
That's
support.
But Red Wine and Blue is for women who want to empower themselves to find their political voice, whatever that looks like to them, whatever that means to them. We see ourselves as a political on-ramp. So if where you are right now is writing postcards to your state senator or looking up who your state senator is and picking up the courage to call your state senator and say what's on your mind, great, we're here for that. If where you are right now is forming a Trouble Nation group just like you did, Charisse, and empowering and advocating other women to do this very important work, that's great. This is a very necessary step, because I know in 2016 and 2017 and 2018, when I felt a lot of despair and I was just doom scrolling constantly, like, oh God, what's happening now? Like I would get up at 3 a.m. and just, oh, what's going on now? That was a terrible time, terrible. But action is the antithesis of despair, I think. And when you can channel your despair and your rage into action and advocacy, you're really able to do something with that, And when you have a community like this, and you need to take a step back and you need to take a breather, you can, because you feel like, okay, the work's going to go on. And I can jump back in the swim when I'm ready. And I know that things are still going to happen. And that's very important, because we all do need to take a breath sometimes and step back. We need to rest ourselves, right? So that's why a community is very important. So if your community is Red Wine and Blue, yes, very good. Yay, that's what we want. If it's another community, that's also good. We work in coalition with lots of groups. We work with Indivisible, we work with Down Home, we work with Common Cause, we work with Carolina Federation, Planned Parenthood, work with, and we are nonpartisan. We are progressive, and you definitely don't have to agree with us on every aspect. Now, I will say public education is our pillar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we definitely feel very strongly about that.
Yes.
You know, that's a very important one for us.
Yeah.
Civil rights, voting rights,
Yeah.
also very important for us. You know, yes. So you know, anybody who feels the same is very welcome to join.
So how can they get in touch with you at Red Wine and Blue?
Well, I am one of the administrators of the Facebook page. Obviously, we also have an app, and I will to everyone, and I know everybody here, I think, has downloaded it.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. All right, that's awesome. So this is what our app looks
Oh,
like.
do it again.
Oh, it went away. Okay. All right, this is what the app. Did it go away
You
again?
press on it.
Okay. This is what the app looks like.
There you go.
There
Okay.
it is.
Yay.
Yay. Can you see?
And this is a really good way to stay in touch and stay on top of good information, keeping in touch with your reps and your senators, and also using our rally tool, because what that does is it keeps you in touch with the people you are contacting. What I have is a list of my close friends and family, so that I can, and former students, so I can remind them, oh, hey, it's voting time. Are you registered? Are you sure? Because you can check the voter rolls and see if they are
You
registered.
can stalk them.
I do. I don't. I have no shame. I have no shame in that. I would definitely stalk my former students, and I'm like, Alex, I see you're not registered. Why?
Everybody
Why
needs
you
some
like me?
encouragement.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
I do too. I'm like, Alex,
Exactly,
I remember
right.
you used to complain all the time in my classroom. Come on.
Exactly.
Come on.
Let your voice be heard.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, come on, you need to register. So, you know, I will contact these people and I will say, hey, you know, I see that you need to register, or have you considered voting for this candidate? Now, we are nonpartisan, but we are anti-extremist, and we do have a voter guide that our members kind of put together
Mhm.
with their favorites,
Great. I love
you know.
it.
Well,
Love
So,
again, like, because I know we talked about this the last time. One of the things that I really fell in love with Red Wine, Red Wine and Blue as a group is the fact that you don't just say vote for this person.
no.
We actually talk about where they stand. We
Yeah.
actually talk about, you know, what's being voted on
Mhm.
now and what it means, because a lot of times those words and those sentences and those paragraphs, it's like it goes over your head as to what it is that you're voting for. And for us to understand what exactly you're voting for is going to be extremely important. So with these elections that are coming up right now, I would say for all of our audience that's out there, please make sure that, especially our women, because the men are not allowed in Red Wine and Blue to get into the group, but we encourage you guys to take a
come
look
to
at
our
it.
events.
Yeah, you can come to our
definitely
events.
Come to the events and
Some,
hang out.
right. But I would say that make sure that you are, you know, finding out about what's going on. And Red Wine and Blue is where.
We're all over.
Mhm.
We've got 40,000 in the state of
Mhm.
North Carolina, and we do in-person events everywhere. I'm the organizer in Concord, but also in Forsyth County, and also in West Carolina. And then Lori and Janice are in Charlotte,
Mhm.
and Tanya's in Greensboro, and Tori's in Fayetteville, and Diane's in Eastern Carolina, and all up and down there. So she's quite busy.
I love it.
Yep. And then we travel, you know, and then of course we have our Trouble Nation groups, and they're all over.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we're trying to get them in all 100 counties, and we're getting close. You
That's
know,
good.
so
That's
yeah,
good.
yep. And they're great. You know, they are they're great advocates. They advocate for public schools. They advocate for local issues. I know that in places like Western Carolina, they are strong environmental advocates. You know, those are huge issues there. So they, for all kinds of things, there are lots of groups that, you know, plan to, you know, meet up and talk about an issue and then go to their local school board meeting or their county commissioners
I love
meeting.
it.
Yeah.
I love
Or
it.
if they're near Raleigh, they go to a legislative meeting.
So
you know, and they
that's that.
represent there, you know,
It's
which I
that
think is
support.
great.
It's
Yeah.
that support.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Star.
And I don't know how far reaching your audience is, but
We're growing
we're
it.
definitely in other states besides North
That's
Mhm.
right. 250,000 across the United States.
All right.
Yeah. So where did it start? I forgot.
Ohio.
That's what I thought.
That's
Ohio.
right.
So it's all over the place right now.
That's
and it's
right.
still growing.
Mhm.
So we definitely encourage that. Anyone else want to say anything? We didn't want to hold people up too far. You were quiet tonight, and I know my girl here has some stuff. You want to say anything at all? Gonna turn it around. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's really important to not just reach out to how do I word this? Building your community is not just, learning who knows what when you need something. Like, I can go to you because I know that you are good at, XYZ, and you're good with public education, and you're on the board. But also, when I am in a time of need,
Exactly.
I know that I can call my friends, and this is my community, and this is my support. Building this kind of community, and knowing that it's okay to let your body and your brain rest.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a mom in the special needs community, sometimes that's what we need to. Sometimes it's not work, sometimes it's rest.
Mm-hmm.
Today is a rest day for me. That's why I'm quiet.
Right. Glad that
I
you were
still
able
wanted to
get
be
some rest.
here, but today is a rest day for me.
It feels good to come out and to have this though. Like, I think that I'm hoping that it definitely, and I know that it will grow. And I know that we are going to do what we need to do on our end to make sure that. So again, I definitely appreciate you guys for coming out. Did you want to say?
No, I just commend everybody for coming out, just creating and extending the community. Because where there's a need, I would say each of the ladies have stepped in and done something. You know, joining the school board, being an advocate for your children, and joining the group, and having red wine and blue, so that way it kind of filters us to how we can learn about these things, how we can spread the word, the rally tool, the voter guide, because I tell you, the voter guide is huge. And then to see how widespread it is. It's not just Cabarrus County, Mecklenburg County, Greensboro, statewide, and then to know that it started in Ohio. So from Ohio, we came all the way down
The second state.
and see, and that is huge. So it just shows that, and so that's really what we need. And I just want to touch base on voting, and your voice does need to be heard, because if voting did not matter, they would not have all the changes that they have with voting.
Mhm.
They want to redraw the districts,
Yeah.
redraw the district party
Yes.
lines and all of that, taking away the mailboxes from the neighborhoods. It's setting the mailboxes on fire. I mean, just
ridiculous.
craziness. So if your vote did not matter, those things would not be occurring.
happening. Right.
So that lets you know you have to continue to speak out. That just shows you how strong your voice is. So thank you, Kim, for touching base on that. And so I'm just going to tag one last time. Early voting ends November the 1st, right, Kim?
Yes, that's
Okay. Saturday, November the 1st.
That's next
During that
Saturday.
time, you can, if you are not registered to vote, or if you have moved, go ahead, early voting, get registered, put it in that you have moved, because after November the 1st, you will not be able to register. So you will not be able to vote. I learned that the hard way after moving. So, I mean, I speak for experience, you know?
That's good.
So I just want to share my experience so somebody else doesn't have that same experience. But I thank everybody for coming on. My co-host, Sharice, raise hell and raise hope. So that's what we're doing out here. So we're raising, and we're raising hope too.
But one more thing, I just want to put out there about the Union County.
Oh,
teachers
yes.
right now. Just wanted to put out there that they went on strike
They're
today.
sicking out tomorrow.
They're sitting out tomorrow.
Sicking out, yes.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So that in itself
Mhm.
says, that's community talking out.
Mhm.
Things need to be heard, things need to be changed. Sometimes we're not extremists, but sometimes extreme measures, nonviolence, can be
Mhm.
taken to get your point across.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying
Yeah.
with that. So just be on the lookout. We're going to put into this will be on Facebook as well as YouTube, and we're going to put in the links. Michelle Williams, we want to thank you for coming on with us again. So be on the lookout for Michelle next year. She is running for school board in Cabarrus. That and also Red Wine and Blue, where you can find nonpartisan information, what looks best for you, and they do not advocate for extremists. So know that the information they have out there will not be on that.
Right.
But we just want to thank everybody for joining us again.
And
So
we are
thank
with
you
the
all.
Union County teachers, and we are also with our federal workers who are not getting paid right now.
Yes.
So we're
So
with
we
you.
Yes.
It's affecting my family as well too. So,
We'll definitely be
Yeah.
in prayer for them because this is our time right now.
Right.
You take away from where you are. It's
Yeah.
like your family. I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna cut it off. You take away from your family, but yet you go to another family to so-called help and you change things. I mean, some things just don't add up and
Doesn't
some
make
things
sense.
don't make sense.
Right.
But I will say we are a community. So
Yeah.
we stand
we
with
don't
our
give up.
community. We
Right.
work with our community. We help our community.
Yeah.
And that's how we get this all done. It
Yeah.
takes a village, and we are a village.
We are. So like and subscribe, and please, please, please hit us up. We would love to hear your voice as well. And we are here for you. And that's it, you guys. Anything else? We good? Yay!
All
So
right.
that's a cut.
Oh, yeah, watch it.
Thank
If
you.
anybody wants to, I know we all have the app,